If you're over 60, what's sitting on your dinner plate may be quietly putting your brain at risk. And it's not the sugar, the fat, or even the fried food. It's the vegetables you've been told are healthy. Doctors and nutrition experts are now warning that 5 common vegetables, often praised for their health benefits, could actually triple your risk of stroke, simply because your aging body reacts differently to them. And here's the scariest part. Most seniors eat these veggies regularly, thinking they're protecting their heart, when in fact, they may be silently triggering inflammation, narrowing arteries, or even causing dangerous blood pressure spikes. In this video, we'll count down the 5 vegetables every senior should think twice about, some that are surprisingly risky, and some that could be life-saving if prepared the right way. You'll learn what to avoid, how to adjust your habits, and the one healthy veggie that might be doing the most harm of all. If you or someone you love is over 60, this is a video you simply can't afford to miss, because when it comes to stroke, one bite at the wrong time could change everything. So grab a pen, stay with me until the end, and let's start making smarter choices, one meal at a time. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Pickled or canned beets. Beets are often praised as a heart-healthy superfood, and many seniors proudly include them in their diet, especially the convenience of pickled or canned varieties. But if you're over 60, this innocent habit could quietly be tightening your arteries, raising your blood pressure, and tripling your risk of stroke without you ever feeling a thing. Here's the truth. Pickled or canned beets are loaded with hidden sodium, preservatives, and acidic solutions that strain your aging cardiovascular system. The vinegar brine used to preserve them may seem harmless, but it causes rapid shifts in blood pressure, especially in older adults whose arteries are already less elastic. One serving of pickled beets can contain over 300–400 milliliters of sodium, enough to constrict blood vessels and raise pressure in the brain, particularly dangerous in the first hours of the morning when the body is most dehydrated. Dr. Helen Marsh, a cardiologist with over 35 years of experience treating seniors, warns, "I've seen patients in their 70s suffer strokes within hours of breakfast, and often the trigger wasn't a donut. It was a jar of pickled vegetables they thought were good for them." Take the case of Mr. Raymond Harris, 72, a retired school principal from Ohio. Every morning, Raymond would enjoy a small bowl of pickled beets, believing he was doing something good for his heart. After suffering a mild stroke last winter, doctors found his blood pressure spiked drastically within 90 minutes of breakfast. His only consistent habit? The beets. Once removed from his diet and replaced with fresh, lightly roasted root vegetables, his pressure stabilized, and so did his life. The truth is, your aging body doesn't handle sodium like it used to. What once passed easily through your system now lingers, building pressure inside fragile vessels. And when those vessels are in your brain, it only takes one silent rupture to change everything. Still think that little jar in your fridge is harmless? But it doesn't stop with beets. Some of the healthiest greens in your fridge may also be quietly hardening your arteries, especially when eaten raw and daily. Let's talk about kale and spinach, and what the science says. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Raw kale and spinach in large amounts. For decades, kale and spinach have been hailed as the ultimate health foods, symbols of clean eating and longevity. And for younger bodies, that may hold true. But if you're over 60, eating these leafy greens raw and in large amounts could quietly be damaging your arteries, stressing your kidneys, and increasing your risk of stroke, especially if you eat them every day. What most seniors don't realize is that raw kale and spinach are extremely high in oxalates, natural compounds that can bind to calcium and form crystals in the bloodstream. In aging bodies, where kidney function may already be slower and arteries less flexible, these oxalate buildups can contribute to vascular calcification, making your blood vessels stiffer and more prone to blockages. Dr. Alan Brooks, a senior vascular specialist, explains it simply. It's like trying to pump water through an old garden hose that's turning to stone. And when those vessels supply oxygen to your brain, even a small blockage can lead to a life-changing stroke. Take the story of Linda Monroe, 68, from Scottsdale, Arizona. After retiring, she became health conscious and began drinking green smoothies with raw kale and spinach every morning. But after months of persistent headaches and lightheadedness, a CT scan revealed calcium buildup in her carotid arteries. Her doctors traced it back to her oxalate heavy diet. When she switched to lightly steamed greens and cut back on raw intake, her symptoms improved and her risk factors began to drop. The danger here isn't that kale or spinach are bad, it's that your body changes after 60. What was once helpful can become harmful if not adjusted for age. And here's the scary part. Many seniors trying to do the right thing are unknowingly pushing their bodies towards stroke by eating too much of a good thing. Still tossing handfuls of raw spinach into your smoothie? You may want to think again. But there's another hidden danger, this time hiding in your freezer. Let's look at those easy prep mixed vegetables that seem innocent until you read what's really inside. 3. Frozen mixed vegetables with added sauces. They sit in the freezer aisle promising health, convenience, and flavor. Those colorful bags of frozen mixed vegetables with creamy garlic, savory butter, or tangy teriyaki sauces. For many seniors trying to eat healthier without spending hours in the kitchen, these seem like the perfect choice. But beneath their bright packaging lies a hidden danger that could be quietly pushing your blood pressure higher, damaging your blood vessels, and tripling your stroke risk after 60. Most people don't realize that these pre-seasoned frozen vegetables are often packed with excess sodium, artificial flavors, and hydrogenated oils, ingredients that directly impact heart and brain health in aging bodies. The sauces may taste mild, but they frequently contain over 600 milliliters of sodium per serving, along with trans fats and preservatives that can increase inflammation and harden arterial walls. Over time, this silent strain can reduce blood flow to the brain, increase the likelihood of clot formation, and create the perfect conditions for a stroke. Dr. Melanie Ruiz, a geriatric nutritionist who's worked with seniors for over 2 decades, puts it bluntly, these products weren't made for aging hearts. They're designed for shelf life, not brain life. One case she recalls is Don Reeves, 74, a widower from Nebraska who prided himself on cooking every day. For years, his dinner plate included a microwaved bag of frozen mixed vegetables with butter sauce. He thought he was making a smart choice, but after a mini stroke last fall, his cardiologist linked his consistently high sodium intake, not from snacks or fast food, but from his healthy vegetables, as a major contributing factor. Don has since switched to steaming plain frozen vegetables and seasoning them at home. His blood pressure has dropped steadily since. It's a hard truth. Just because something has vegetables on the label doesn't mean it's good for your brain. And after 60, every ingredient matters more than ever. So before you toss that convenient veggie bag into the microwave tonight, take a moment to read the label. Your heart and your future, Mom, may depend on it. But sauces aren't the only place danger hides. In fact, one vegetable many seniors fry, grill, or roast weekly contains a natural toxin that could be silently fueling inflammation and raising your stroke risk. Let's talk about eggplant. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Eggplant in excess. Eggplant has long been a staple in American kitchens, especially for seniors who enjoy hearty home-cooked meals. Whether it's grilled, sautéed, or baked into a comforting casserole, eggplant feels like a wholesome choice. But for those over 60, eating eggplant regularly and in excess could be quietly setting the stage for inflammation, blood vessel stress, and a significantly higher risk of stroke. The hidden culprit is a natural compound called solanine, found in eggplants and other nightshade vegetables. While solanine may not pose a serious risk to younger, healthy individuals, it can become problematic for older adults, especially those with weakened digestion, inflammatory conditions, or already compromised blood vessels. According to Dr. Neil Edwards, a neurologist specializing in stroke prevention, solanine in high amounts can promote neuroinflammation, contribute to vascular irritation, and may even increase blood clotting tendencies in vulnerable seniors. He explains, after 60, the blood vessels that supply the brain aren't as resilient. Add a diet that aggravates inflammation and constricts blood flow, and you have a real danger, often without any early warning signs. This was exactly the case with Shirley Davis, a 70-year-old retired nurse from Michigan. Shirley loved making fried eggplant slices topped with cheese, a family tradition she carried on for decades. But after experiencing sudden dizziness and numbness in her arm, she was diagnosed with a transient ischemic attack, or mini stroke. Upon review of her diet and lifestyle, her doctor flagged her frequent consumption of eggplant, particularly fried, as an inflammatory trigger. Since switching to a lower inflammatory diet and reducing eggplant to an occasional treat, Shirley hasn't had another episode. Eggplant isn't inherently dangerous, but for older adults, moderation is key. It's how your body processes it that matters now, not just what's on your plate. But if you think skipping eggplant will solve the problem, think again. One of the most surprising healthy vegetables on American tables, often eaten raw or juiced, contains more hidden sodium than a slice of ham. Let's take a closer look at celery. 5. Celery, when eaten daily and in excess. Celery has a reputation as the safe snack, low in calories, high in crunch, and recommended in countless diet plans for seniors. Many older Americans add it to soups, juices, or nibble on sticks throughout the day, believing they're doing their heart a favor. But the truth is, if you're over 60, eating too much celery, especially daily, might be quietly working against your brain health and tripling your stroke risk in ways you never expected. The danger lies in celery's surprisingly high natural sodium content. 1 cup of chopped celery contains around 80 milliliters of sodium. And while that may sound harmless, for seniors on salt-sensitive medications or those with borderline hypertension, it adds up, especially when juiced or eaten in large portions. Sodium draws water out of your cells, making blood thicker and harder to pump. That means your heart strains more, your vessels narrow, and your brain, which needs constant smooth blood flow, is left at risk. Dr. Caroline Fenn, a cardiovascular specialist with over 30 years of experience treating seniors, warns, celery seems innocent, but I've seen patients spike their blood pressure just by juicing it daily. Older bodies can't flush sodium as efficiently, and even natural sources can be a hidden danger. That was the case for Eugene Clark, 75, a retired firefighter from Oregon. Eugene had replaced salty snacks with celery sticks and drank green juice with celery every morning for 6 months. At his next physical, his blood pressure had jumped unexpectedly. When reviewed by his cardiologist, the culprit wasn't processed food. It was his healthy celery habit. After reducing his intake and focusing on hydration, his numbers returned to a safer range within weeks. The lesson? Healthy isn't always healthy after 60. What's safe in moderation can turn risky when habits go unchecked, especially when our aging bodies respond differently than they did in our 40s. But don't let this scare you. Let it empower you, because protecting your brain after 60 isn't about fear. It's about making smarter choices, and just one small change in your daily habits can make a life-saving difference. 6. But wait, it's not about fear, it's about smart choices. By now you might be feeling overwhelmed, maybe even a little afraid. After all, how can something as simple as a vegetable, something you've trusted for decades, suddenly become a threat to your brain and heart? That fear is valid. But this conversation isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up, to empower you, and to honor the truth about the aging body, because the truth is your body after 60 is not the same as it was at 40. And that means the way you eat must evolve too. Science has shown us again and again, stroke risk increases sharply with age, and often the triggers aren't dramatic. They're subtle. They're found in the refrigerator, not just in the hospital. Sodium hides in healthy-looking foods. Natural compounds like oxalates and solanine, once tolerated easily, can now create inflammation and increase clotting risk. These small shifts inside your body, higher blood pressure, thicker blood, stiffer arteries. They don't announce themselves. They build quietly until one day they don't. Dr. Lisa Granger, a stroke prevention expert with the American Institute for Aging, says, "I've seen too many seniors who were doing everything right, no fast food, no sweets, yet they were unknowingly overloading their bodies with hidden vascular stressors. Once they made simple strategic changes, their risk markers improved dramatically." That's the heart of this message. It's not about giving up everything you enjoy. It's about understanding how your body changes with time and choosing to work with it, not against it. It's about learning to read labels, to question convenience, and to treat your daily food choices as small acts of care for your future self. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be aware. That awareness is what keeps you strong, steady, and independent, the way you deserve to be. So tomorrow morning, when you reach for something to eat or drink, pause. Think about what your brain and heart need today, not what used to work 30 years ago. That simple pause could be the most powerful stroke prevention tool you'll ever use. And remember, the goal isn't fear. The goal is freedom. Freedom from hospital visits. Freedom from silent damage. Freedom to live each year ahead with clarity, confidence, and vitality. You've come this far. Let's make sure you keep going, stronger, wiser, and smarter than ever. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.